From our studios in Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Jerry DeViller. Debbie Catalano with Catalano Creative is alongside. We want to welcome our listeners from the United States and around the world. It's another Sunday podcast. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Jerry.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am better than I deserve. Thank you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I'm beyond excited about today's episode. So I mean, to the point we're going to get right into it because people don't want to hear us talk, right? I mean,
I wouldn't want to hear me talk. I don't.
Right. We have all these guests, and it's like, nobody wants to listen to me talk about nothing. Essentially,
we don't know if they want to listen to me yet either. But we'll give it a try. Yeah.
There he is, and folks, that is our special guest today. His name is Scott McCaughey. He is an American singer, guitarist, and songwriter. He is and the leader of the Seattle and Portland based bands, the Young Fresh Fellows and the Minus Five. He's an auxiliary member of the American rock band REM from 1994 until the band's breakup in 2011, contributing to studio albums New Adventure in Hi-Fi, Up, Reveal, Around the Sun, Accelerate, and Collapse into Now. He is also in a group that is coming here to Boston called The Baseball Project. They're going to be at the Somerville Theater in Somerville, Massachusetts on September the 23rd. And we're going to give you all of the tour dates and everything to do with that because they're going to be touring around the U.S. and they may come to a city where you guys are at. So please welcome to the show, Scott McCaughey. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yay! It's great to be here. Great to be here. Yeah.
How are things? You're out on the West Coast. How are things out there?
Portland, hot. I'm not super hot, but it's been a really hot summer. But I haven't been here for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been in England, in the UK, playing with the Minus Five and Peter Buck and Luke Haynes group. So because Linda and Peter and Linda is also in the Minus Five and the Baseball Project, as is Peter Buck. So we're all in a lot of groups together. And so we were doing the Luke Haynes and Peter Buck tour, which is another group we have with a English singer-songwriter, Luke Haynes. And we have a new record that came out like a month or so ago. So we did a 15-date tour of the UK with the Minus Five opening. But the Minus Five, of course, was the same band as the Luke Haynes and Peter Buck group. And that's also going to happen with the Baseball Project Minus Five tour, where the Minus Five and the Baseball Project are basically the same people, but we just move people around a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
How different is the music between, is there a great distinction?
Well, with Luke Haynes, he's very English and very kind of eccentric, psychedelic, but when it comes down to it, it's all pop rock music with a lot of psychedelic and some punk rock and all that stuff. And with the Baseball Project, the Minus Five, it's both bands are the kind of music we like,
Yeah.
like rock and roll, basically, So they're not incredibly different in musical approach, but it's mostly the lyrical approach is the different thing with the Baseball Project, because that's what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's songs about baseball, and the Minus Five, I can write songs about anything. So I'm not limited.
Right, that's good.
Yeah. And boy, do I write songs about anything.
Yes, I just started kind of following. I just started listening to the Baseball Project music, and I'm going to dive into all of the other stuff that you do in the Minus Five, and again, it's my kind of music. Not too long ago, we had Steve Wynn on. Talking about the music and things that he's doing, and I got to meet Steve here in Boston about a year ago at a living room show, and a great guy. And he mentioned the Baseball Project and all the members of the band and stuff. So it sounds like great stuff. And you guys are so busy and been doing this for years and years and years. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I mean, right now I'm kind of questioning, that I just did a 3.5 week tour, and I have like 4 days off, and I'm doing another 3.5 week tour,
Wow.
and that seems kind of like a lot for an old guy like me, but but then again, it's kind of what I live for too. So you know, but it's it was a really successful tour of the UK, and I hope the US tour should be great too. We've we've got a lot of baseball project fans out there, and I've got some -5 fans too, so it should be a good double bill. Yeah, so it'll be it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and I'm
So
looking forward to this Somerville Theater. I've never been there, so I'm
it's
Yeah, it's in a square called Davis Square, which is very cool, artsy
uh-huh.
area, not far from Harvard Square. You're probably
Oh,
familiar with
okay.
Harvard Square.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
like an iconic theater. It's a movie theater. I think they still show movies there from time
Yes,
to
they
time.
do.
So
Yep.
it's in town. It's not a suburb or anything like that. It's
No, I mean it's a city. I mean it's not Boston
okay.
proper, but it's
Okay. But
next to Boston,
it's near
Cambridge.
It
near
yeah,
Cambridge. Okay. That
yeah,
Yeah.
sounds cool. That sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's a great theater. It's
I
like I
can't
said.
wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. In fact, Bruce Springsteen played there a number of years ago when he was doing his little
uh,
solo tour. They've
right,
got
right.
all sorts of acts
Oh, I
there,
think
and
even you two did like a pop up, a
yes,
random pop
yes,
up there. I mean, it's
yeah,
Cool.
now they call it the Crystal Ballroom, but it's still under
yes,
the Somerville Theater.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you Google it, it's quite a historic place,
Oh,
and the fans love it. I mean, you'll certainly get fans that know who you are, and others that are going to say, "Oh, let me just go check this out," because that's what it is like in Somerville. Because there's several colleges around there, like Debbie said, Harvard, MIT, and Cambridge.
Hmm.
Tufts University is down the road in Medford, so everything's kind of right there. So I think
good.
you're gonna see a great crowd and make some new friends and new fans.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked about the two tours, -5 and the baseball project. Are they together, or are you doing the baseball project and then switching right over to -5, or do you do them together? How does that?
The -5 is going to open the show, and we'll play like a 40-minute set, and then we'll move a couple things around. Not a lot. We'll try to make it so the setup is pretty seamless, but we might not even have to switch almost to anything with this band. We might be able to keep the same setup, but we will take a 20-minute break and then come back out and do baseball project for whatever 70-75 minutes, something like that. So it'll be a good 2 hours of the same five people up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I love it.
Telling our stories and rocking out. Yeah.
that is awesome. And then again, that's on September the 23rd at the Somerville Theater,
Yeah.
Capitol Ball. Sorry, the Crystal Ballroom at the Somerville Theater in Somerville, Massachusetts. Tickets are still available as far as when I checked right before we started recording this on September 4th. So get your tickets, folks. I'm going to check my calendar. If I can be there, I would love to
Good,
see you guys
good.
and meet you and
It's gonna be a great show. People always love the baseball project shows. We've got some really pretty nutty fans, and they're because
yeah,
we've got all the fans of people who liked our music in the past. They like the Young Fresh Fellows, the -5, the Dream Syndicate, REM, of course, is a huge
hmm
one. And
Yeah.
so we get all those people, and then they come, and so we get those people, and then we get people who maybe weren't fans, who just found out they just baseball nuts, and so they discovered us through the baseball angle. So we got it's kind of a nice mixture of people, because even some of our fans are longtime fans, like Dream Syndicate fans. Maybe they don't care about baseball, but they kind of learn to, because
sure.
the music's great, and
Yeah.
if they don't care about it, they still love the songs.
And
And
I see here that you're playing from Florida all the way through Georgia.
yep,
So though you'll be so also for people who aren't in our area should
yep,
check out when we'll have it in the notes. But
yeah,
looks like it's jam-packed dates from the 10th
And,
through the 30th, the whole
yeah.
month basically.
it's like
Pretty
and
nonstop. We play 6 nights a week.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
wow.
gonna say I'm looking at the dates, going, wow, these guys are playing every single night. Maybe a day off here and there, but not really.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
lot
we
of shows in a short
get
period
an
of time.
occasional Sunday or Monday off, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah,
works.
that's
We're playing
that's incredible.
a big festival in Louisville, Bourbon and Beyond, which is a huge festival. We're playing that, and
Oh.
Do you hear that,
and we're
listeners in Louisville? We have some listeners down there. So
and we're playing Mountain Stage, which in West Virginia, which I've never done. I'm really excited to do that because I've been hearing Mountain Stage in shows for so many years, and I've never played it. Of course, the REM guys have played it before, but I've never played it, and so I'm really excited for that too. And
That sounds very cool. And speaking of REM, so you also have a date in Athens, Georgia.
yeah,
So I'm sure that's going to have be a big turnout.
that's sold out already.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a pretty big venue, but it's the 40 watt, which is kind of a REM central, So
Yeah.
we always have great homecoming shows there, pretty much,
That'll
So
be fun.
it's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's great. Just going through your bio and looking at all of the different bands and the contributes, and you even wrote for Music Magazine. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done it all, right? But I wanted to ask about the baseball project. I thought this was a very interesting concept. How did this come about? Were you all baseball fans and just somebody said one night, "Hey, you know what? How did that come
Well,
about?"
it was kind of like that. I mean, it was the story goes that at this party before the night before REM was being inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was in New York back then before they moved it to the ceremony back to Cleveland, and had a big party at a restaurant. And sometime in the wee hours, Steve and I were yakking and barely standing at that point, probably. But Steve said something about like I always wanted to do a record of songs about baseball, and I was like, me too. And I think we'd actually had this drunken conversation one time before that Steve forgot. Well, and then I forgot the one that we had then at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The next day, I totally forgotten about it, but we had both said, yeah, we should do it together. And so, Steve said, you remember what we talked about? I was like, no. And so he reminded me, and so we said, yeah, that's a great idea. And we started kind of throwing a few ideas out. Like I started demoing some songs and sending them to Steve, and Steve was like, "Oh, this is on," and then he's sending me some songs, and then we started getting serious about it, and it was maybe in October or something, and we started coming up with songs, and I said, "Well, why don't you come out to Portland and we'll record it?" And so they said, okay. So I said, okay, I'm gonna book recording dates, and then we have to come up with songs. We have to do this record. And and Steve and Linda, who's he's married to and plays drums, she was totally down with it too. And she's a big baseball fan too. Grew up with the Twins in Minneapolis, and so she's a really big fan. And she and Steve grew up a Dodgers fan, but they've been in New York for so long. They're Yankees fans now too. Sorry, Boston.
It's okay.
But so yeah, so we decided to do it, and then they came out to Portland and we recorded. And we said, well, Peter Peter might want to do this because he likes to play. He doesn't care about baseball, but he likes to play music. So we had him come down and he overdubbed on all 12 songs in one afternoon, one day, and then we didn't even have a name for it. We didn't know if we were going to be a band or anything. We were just making a record about baseball, and then we finally, when we got ready to put it out, we said, what are we going to call this? And we had a bunch of dumb names, but we finally settled, maybe it just makes sense to call it the Baseball Project so people actually know what it's about.
Makes sense.
Yeah, when Josh first told me about the Baseball Project, I didn't put that together. I just said, oh, it must be something. I didn't realize it was a band about all baseball, and
Right.
it is it's great. And your first album was in 2008, I believe. And so the first time the Baseball Project ever went public was like a huge gig for you. If I'm reading my notes right,
Right.
was it the late night with David Letterman? Was that your
Yeah,
first public appearance?
that was our first ever show.
Wow! Now talk about a coming.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. It was pretty nerve-wracking, but because we hadn't even ever played. We hadn't even played. I think it was the first time the four of us ever played together, and we just rehearsed that one song. Like we ran through it a couple times, and then you play it on the show. They tape it, and it was pretty amazing. And we were actually, I think it was on tour with REM then at the time, so we had a day off in New York, and we did it on then because Steve and Linda live in New York, and Peter and I were there, of course. And Mike wasn't in the band yet, but Mike from REM is a huge baseball fan too, and so um, the one we first time we played a live show, we played besides the Dave Letterman, we played a show in Spain, which is really funny for that to be our first show, and it was a national broadcast on TV,
Wow.
and Peter was doing something else then, so we got Mike to fill in for him. So Mike, and Mike was a natural because he's such a great bass player, and he's a big baseball nut. So then eventually we kind of traded off with Peter and Mike being in the band for a while, and we just by the third record we're like we should all be in the band. So Mike and Peter, we've been a five-piece band since then with full strength, and made the records with all five of us. So and
Yeah.
it's been awesome. It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
and for our listeners, we talk kind of about Mike Mills
Yes, Mike.
is who we're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah, it's just it's a blockbuster lineup of people playing in this group. It's amazing. I can't wait to continue to listen. Like as I just started listening, I'm sorry to say I didn't never heard of it until Josh brought it up,
uh,
and I said, it sounds great.
I,
Um,
I love too how creative you guys are with the theme of baseball. Like it's not for anybody, who thinks, well, how many songs can you write about baseball? You're so creative that you have a song that's just numbers, right? It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like I love that. Like I was
yeah,
like when I read about it, I'm like I have to hear
yeah.
this song. So I just think
Well,
that's
I think we've written like 70, 75 baseball songs. So it's wide open. As long as it has something to do with baseball, it's wide open. We don't care. We don't have any limits or any rules about it. So we come up with some really, really kind of ridiculous things, but I think it's great. Yeah, that one stats was one that Steve came up with, where he just said the numbers, and he wouldn't
yeah.
even we didn't even say what stats they were, just the numbers. But people who know baseball would say, oh, if you say 714, they know it's the the record number of home runs that Babe Ruth had. Of course, it's been surpassed now, but still,
right.
that number still lives in time. So we just spouted these numbers, and people like knew all of them, but most of them, but there's a couple I didn't get. It's funny. We kind of like big puzzles for people, and
I love that. It's like a
Yeah,
game.
and
yeah.
we always get people coming up to us that shows, how come you haven't written a song about so and so, or why don't you do this, and stuff like that. So sometimes we get good ideas, and most of the time we already thought of that. So
And the baseball project wouldn't be complete if you didn't do a version of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," which is a great version, by the way.
that's good.
Um,
That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I think that's the only cover song we've done on any of the
yeah.
records. But yeah, that was just a little fun kind of seven inning stretch on our double album, which was our third
Yeah.
record. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. The stuff I've listened to so far is great. Again, it's my kind of music. I think our audience is going to love it. We're talking
Yes.
to Scott McCaughey. He is a member of the band The Minus Five, and he is also in the Baseball Project, which is on tour now. We'll have all of the information, websites, tour dates, links for the tour dates in the show notes, and I'll pop a few of them out here in just a minute. Um, the um I think it was 2008. I read you actually did the national anthem here at Fenway Park,
Yes, we have.
and are you
I'm
doing
not
that?
sure what year it was, but we've done it. We've done it maybe twice even, I think,
Okay.
up there. But that's awesome. And Josh Cantor, the keyboard player, organ player at Fenway Park for the Red Sox, is
Mm.
a great friend of ours, and he's played with us before many times, and he's awesome. I haven't checked to see if there's a game that night or not, so if we don't know if he'll be able to
I know.
come to
We
the
should
show.
check
Or
that
I
That
out.
would be
I
great.
think the Red Sox might be playing that night. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
we'll have to check on that. Um, but we'll get in touch with him anyway. But he's fantastic, and he's been a big supporter of us all along. And he did a little a bunch of organ versions of our songs.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
Well, we
at the
yeah,
park.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, no,
nice.
he recorded them too, and we put one of them at least on one of our records. But yeah, he's a great guy, an amazing musician, and
He is. He's definitely respected around here in the Boston scene and known.
yeah, yeah. He knows so much about music and so many songs. It's kind of incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just we're out there playing. We don't have a new record out this year, but we have one that came out a couple of years ago that we did with Mitch Easter. We It took us a while because we had to wait till after the pandemic was over to get together. And but that record came out amazing, and so we're still playing a lot of those songs. And of course we have favorites from the first three records that people love too. So
It's interesting when you said that you guys did one of your first gigs in Spain as the baseball project, right?
yeah.
Because it seems like such a all-American type, theme for the
Yeah.
band. How did it go over there? I'm just
Well,
curious.
it was great. I mean, this was when our first record was done, so we did supplement our set with we did some of Steve's songs, some Dream Syndicate songs,
Okay.
and some of my minus five songs. So we supplemented it a little bit, but we were billed as the baseball project,
Yeah.
and it was a crazy show. It was really wild, and yeah, it was on national TV, which was just crazy.
Oh, wow.
It was in this weird little town in this little outdoors in this little square in this really ancient town. I can't even remember the name of it. It was a
That's
really
cool.
fun, yeah, it was really really fun, and we went crazy. But it was yeah, people seem to like it. People didn't. I don't think in Spain they just love rock and roll, so they weren't
Yeah.
worried about what we
That's what
were.
it comes down to. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
The international language, rock
yeah.
and roll.
Yeah. But that being said, we haven't played it as much in Europe as we have with some of our other bands because
hmm
it's a little bit, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a hard sell. I think I know a lot of people over there want us to come over. And we went over there once and did a little tour and played in Croatia and Holland. And, we played like a couple shows in Italy. So we did one little tour over there, but that was a long time ago and we haven't got back. So, we probably will sometime, but you know, we used to think, well, it'd be a hard sell because people don't understand baseball, but it doesn't really matter because the music, you know, tra translates it for it.
hmm
Yeah,
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 Yeah.
for
exactly,
sure.
exactly. The again, we're talking to Mike McCaughey. Excuse me, Mike McCaughey, Scott McCaughey. Mike McCaughey is
Yeah.
a very good friend of mine. I apologize, Scott
Oh,
McCaughey.
That's okay.
shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike, in one of our listeners. He is he's in the minus five and also in the baseball project. The baseball project is currently on tour in September. If you're listening to us today on the first day that this has come out, you want to head over to the Bourbon and Beyond Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. That is an unbelievable festival, by the way. And you definitely want to check that out. That's on September 14th. September 16th, they're going to be in, I'm going to blow this, but I'm going to try it. Makokita, Iowa?
Oh, Makukeda.
Makokita, Iowa.
Makukeda.
I apologize to Iowans.
It's a great gig. There's this big barn in the middle of nowhere. It's called Codfish Hollows barn concerts, but it's amazing. It's this really old barn that's just a beautiful venue. We've played there twice before, and it's a destination. You gotta go there. But it's not that far from the Field of Dreams, where
Oh,
the
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
appropriate.
we usually stop in and see that when we're on the way there. But it's a great gig and people just love playing there. They get lots of great acts there, and it's a really fun show. So Codfish Hollows Barn
Oh, that
Barn
Yep,
sounds like it.
Codfish Hollow
Barnstormers.
Barnstormers. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
that's on September 16th, and then the next night you're in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on the 17th at the Fine Line Music Cafe. Then you from Minnesota you go right over to Chicago, Illinois on the 18th, the 19th Kalamazoo, Michigan.
yeah.
20th Millvale, Pennsylvania. 21st Jersey City, New Jersey, and then you get a day off. and you get to travel here to Boston at the
Wow.
Crystal Ballroom at the Somerville Theater.
Yep.
And then the next day, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to Washington, D.C. on the 25th, Richmond, Virginia on the 26th, Carrboro, North Carolina at the Cat's Cradle on the 27th, the 28th, Mountain Stage on NPR's show, Charleston, West Virginia, and it ends up Terminal West, Atlanta, Georgia on September 30th. How, man, that is a schedule and a half.
It is. It is. That's the way we always do it. We always like try to. We have such limited time because we're always playing in other groups, and we have
Right.
so many different things going on. So it's we always have to when we book a tour, we jam pack it. We just
Yeah.
You must
and
be exhausted at the end of this thing. How do
yes,
you
I will be.
I just question. I'm assuming you're on are you on a tour bus doing all this? I assume you're not.
No, no, we're in a van.
Oh, Vans. Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
this is the way they used to do
yeah.
it. Wow. Okay. Uh,
We've never been in a tour bus. I mean, of course, we did it in REM, and Steve might have had a tour bus way back in the days of Dream Syndicate once or twice, but I'm not sure if he did. But yeah, so it's kind of it's stepping back for the REM fellas, and including me when I was traveling with REM because that was really traveling in style. But we it's pretty it's pretty comfortable, I
yeah.
mean, we got these nice Sprinter vans that are pretty comfortable, and it's we're not staying in the four-star hotels, like we did in REM, where there's no Ritz-Carlton or
Right.
or anything like that. But we don't stay in dumps. We're not staying at the Knights Inn anymore either.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
Although we have stayed at the Knights Inn
I,
with
I've,
in
I've,
the -5 before, but
I,
not anymore.
I used to travel on a tour as a photographer. I understand things like that. Some of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
places that you got to drive to. So when you said van, of course, my mind immediately went to the old Volkswagen psychedelic
yeah,
painted up van. But
yeah.
you're right. Today's probably a little bit more comfortable than those days.
They
But
are. They're pretty nice.
is
Yeah.
touring today much different than it was back when you started back in like the 80s and the
It's
90s?
totally different.
Yeah. In what way?
Well, I mean, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have GPS. I mean, those are the biggest thing. And there wasn't really like a proven like route that you'd go. There wasn't like a circuit that was there weren't that many venues, and some of them were really dodgy. And so it was a whole different thing. You had to stop along the way all the time and call ahead to the radio station you were going to and try to figure out how to get there and get directions and all this stuff. And you'll find a lot of payphones involved
Mhm.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And you have the big road atlas, and everything, and you're driving to a city you've never been before, like New York or Chicago or something, and trying to figure out where the hell the club is.
Yeah.
Was it
It was an adventure, but we didn't think anything of it because that's just how
yeah.
we did it.
Just the way it was,
That
right?
Exactly, yeah.
so when that was sort of my next question. When you were doing that, was it more of a pain in the butt, or was it like, wow, this is cool?
It
Or
was
if you look back at it now and go, wow, those were the days.
it was the pain in the butt, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
We were just excited to be out and playing music, I mean, and it's still that way, really, but it was just a thrill to be out and doing it,
Yeah, for
at whatever
sure.
at whatever level it was. So I never regretted those days or look back at them as worse than they are now. It was just a different thing.
Right.
But
Right.
but it's always beyond tour. It's all about the 2 hours on stage, when you get to rock out and play music. That's what everything's leading up to that.
Right.
So yeah, it was the same thing back then in a way. It was just maybe a little harder to get to those 2 hours.
Well, it's interesting you say though that there weren't as many venues as there are now because I think that a lot of musicians I know, kind of bemoan the fact there aren't as many venues. But I guess it depends on the size that we're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they were different kind of venues
Yeah.
too. Some of them were. I mean, some of the places we played back in the 80s were are ones that are still around, the 930 Club in Washington D.C. Although it's moved, it's a way bigger, better venue than it used to be, but it's still the same, run by the same people and same person. And there's the Cat's Cradle has been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
been around forever, and trying to think what other ones were playing that have been around for a long time. A lot of most of the other ones are relatively newer. I think, well, the 40 watt has been around since then in Athens. So, there's still some places that are, but so there's a lot of new venues that are more designed to be venues,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, so I don't know.
Debbie and I remember back in the 80s and 90s, all the venues here in Boston, there was so many. Somerville, for example, had, I think, 4 or 5 different clubs, nightclubs, and venues, bar rooms with a stage, basically. And a
Right.
lot of those venues are gone. There's a couple that new ones have opened up, but those were the days when you could,
Yeah.
any night of the week, you could walk in and see a band, whether they were a national band or local bands.
Right.
It was a huge music scene back then.
Well, and also speaking of, baseball and all that, like over by Fenway Park, there was a whole street, Lansdowne Street
Right.
that had like, just a strip of venues.
Yeah,
So,
we
Right.
played at the House of Blues there a few times,
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
of course wasn't back there in the 80s, I don't think, but
No, well, the House of Blues originally was in Harvard Square.
right.
I'm not sure what year, and then they moved over to
Yeah.
where it is now. Yeah.
But
We
but
played
that
there a few times.
that
Yeah.
building has always been a nightclub. I remember going back. It was Metro and 13 Up, and there was probably something else before that. So I used to go there before it became the House of Blues. But yeah,
Well, it was
Land
also Mama Ken that was
Mama Ken's. Yeah,
Aerosmith.
it's
Yeah.
been everything, but it's
Yeah.
always been music related. So
Yes, yes.
um, so folks, if they want to find out about the baseball project, for example, there's a website out there, right? They can check it out.
There is. It's got all the information you need on it. It's not a big, crazy, fancy website, but it's there with all the dates and ticket links and all that stuff that you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also for the -5 too. I
Yep.
want to make sure we plug the -5.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
-5 website is sort of under repair,
Okay.
or not under disrepair, but I've -5 Facebook, the -5, and Instagram and all that stuff, and you can go on the Yep Rock Records, which is the label that the -5's on, and
No, that's good because sometimes
yeah,
social media is enough and people don't even
yeah,
go to the
Yeah.
website.
yeah.
So,
I got
Yeah.
Bandcamp,
oh, Bandcamp, yep, yeah.
all those things are all, and so our music's out there, it's available, and it's of course on Spotify and all those things that don't pay band.
I know
Yeah.
they don't pay
Yeah.
anything that you deserve. Did you say the -5 has a new album in the works
Yes.
or
No,
yeah.
it came out in at the end of May.
Oh, okay,
It's
so
called
just out. Okay.
Over on Penelope, and we did a whole West Coast tour with that, with the actual band that was on the record, which was me, Peter Buck, Linda Pittman, so the core of,
Hmm.
and Kurt Block from the Young Fresh Fellows was playing lead guitar, and Debbie Peterson from the Bangles
Oh,
was
yes, I saw
Mm.
that. Yeah.
singing and playing organ, and she's great on the record. She sings on every song on the record, and
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
I'm a big
she's
Bengals
phenomenal.
fan.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. So we did that, and then we just did the tour in UK, and now we're doing the rest of the country. Just because I just want to get the word out about this album, because I'm so
Hmm.
super proud of the album, and it's just it was a really joy to make, and came out. It feels like it's kind of a joyous album. I mean, it feels like it's a positive record. I'm not sure why, but it just feels like it. It's a good feeling when I listen to it. So, and I think it's a time when we need good feeling.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I'm sure the fans will find it as fun and uh, exciting.
They better.
So you get that, guys. Go out there, the -5. Pick up
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
up the record. They're on I had one other question before we wrap up here. And again, thank you so much for taking the time. And I know you've got other shows. You're becoming a podcast veteran now. This is awesome.
I am.
Uh, um, so you've played with so many folks. If people were to Google you or ChatGPT your name, they would see all of the different. We would take up a whole podcast just listing everybody that you have performed with,
Let's
written
do it.
for, and things. It's very good. My
Yeah.
question is there anybody that you really wanted to play with and just never had the opportunity?
Oh, there must be. I mean, but it's kind of funny because the people I would think of first on, I think Neil Young, but I did play with him.
Okay.
I mean, just a couple times we played with him at the Bridge concert, and so because he's kind of one of my heroes. Of course, the Beatles. I've never played with any of the Beatles, but that's I can't even dream of that. But I did get to play with Yoko Ono, which was a dream come true. So that was
Wow.
Wow.
so, I mean, it's amazing all these things that have happened to me. I played with Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople, who was one of my favorites of all time, and Morgan Fisher from Mott the Hoople has played on my records, and it's just so there's so many dreams have come true, and I don't really go after them. It just happens, but I'm sure there's some people that I haven't thought of that I would love to play with, but I can't even begin because there's so many great people that I have played with. Alejandro
Yes.
Escovedo, who's just such a
Oh,
great artist, and I've got to make records with him, and toured with him, and he's phenomenal. So there's just so many great people, and to play with REM was just insane. It was
Oh
just
yeah, I'm
it
sure.
was, it was so amazing, and to make those records with them were incredible. Such a great experience. So yeah, so I can't complain at all. I never will.
no,
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
quite a background.
yeah.
incredible, incredible relationships and
Oh, and of course Wilco and Jeff Tweedy. I played with them, and
oh
they're
yeah,
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
love Wilco.
one of
Yeah.
my favorite bands ever. And
Mm,
so
yes,
oh yeah, they're incredible. So yeah,
they
there's just
are.
so many great people I've got the chance to work with, and it's just amazing.
So, folks, wherever you're listening in the U.S., and you can make one of the shows between now and the end of September, check it out. It's the Baseball Project with minus five. It's going to be a great tour for those of you who are listening to us from Boston. The Somerville, Mass, at the Crystal Ballroom at the Somerville Theater is on September the 23rd. Tickets are available. We're going to have all of the tour dates and links to the tour dates and links to the websites right in the show notes of this episode. So please check it out and thank you again so much for joining us today.
Yes,
I'm
thank
a
you, Scott.
question, Debbie. Any last question?
No, I think we covered, I mean, everything. I just enough to intrigue people also to check out all
Right,
the music
Sure.
right.
and the shows.
And anything you want to promote, Scott, that we didn't promote yet?
Well, there's a new Young Fresh Fellows record coming out in
Okay.
November on Record Store Day, the Black Friday. It's
Hmm.
coming out as a limited vinyl thing then, and it'll come out legitimately with full release in probably in February or something. But it's a really great record. I'm really proud of it. We made it. We were doing our 40th anniversary tour last year. The 40th anniversary of our first record, and we did a reissue of a remix and everything. And then we had one day off on that tour, and we were in Chicago, and I said, well, let's go and do some recording on our day off.
On the day off.
We're playing like 3 hours every night, and like let's go do this. And so we went into the loft, Wilco's studio,
Hmm.
and we recorded 11 new songs, and they came out amazing. We hadn't nobody had ever heard them or anything. We just kind of worked them up at the studio and played them, and then we of course gussied it up a little bit for this new version, and it's a really great record. It's called Loft, and so if you're a fan of fun psychedelic punk rock of the Young Fresh Fellows, then I think everybody's going to love it. It's amazing that we've been around for 40 plus years too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. for sure.
and
Yeah.
go and look like you've never
Yeah.
stopped. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Yes.
it's
We had some really good days in Boston early on because Scruffy the Cat were really good friends
Mm-hmm.
of ours, and
Mhm.
because our drummer was in the band with the Law, which was the band that Scruffy came out of, a band from Des Moines that moved out to Boston. So those guys were really good friends of ours. So we spent a lot of time playing at TT the Bears
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and
Which is no longer, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
memories.
Johnny D's and
Yes, another one. I
Another
missed
one.
that one. That so where you're playing is across the street from the old Johnny
oh,
D's.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
we played that later with the baseball project.
Okay.
Had a good show there, but it was probably 10 years ago now or
It's so look a little familiar to you when you go now, now
yeah.
that you know
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
What?
yeah, I will.
And you've got a day off between Jersey City, New Jersey, and Boston. So hopefully you'll come into town and enjoy some more Boston. Catch a Red Sox game or
I will
what?
we'll see. I don't have no idea what's planned, but our tour manager probably has something planned.
Sure, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on the show and letting us talk to you and promote your work. And I hope that I get to see you in Somerville and get to meet you and you are welcome to come back on the show anytime.
All right,
You
good.
certainly reach out to us or Josh, who
Okay.
knows how to reach us. You want to talk about any of your projects, we'll be more than happy to have you come on and promote it.
Yeah, we'll come up and say hi if you're at the show.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool.
That is Scott McCaughey, everyone, from the -5 and the Baseball Project. Check the links out in the show notes for the tour date, or you can check him out. Thebaseballproject.net is one of the websites to have all the tour dates and ticket information for you for the upcoming tour in September.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.